Hello and welcome to part 2 of this Mighty Mofo, this Hayden Mighty Mofo 5 watt amp. So if you watch part 1, this came in lights on but no one at home, and it turned out to be the tube there that was blue, and it had gone to air, and we rebiased this amp, but we did it by changing the screen resistor, because we just unplugged because I've just been having a bit of a... So when we tested this amp, we checked it out, we'd got more screen volts than we'd got plate voltage. We'd also got the cathode resistor buttered right up against this capacitor, and it's also like a radial sand resistor. So because we'd got to change, obviously the only way to get the grid voltage down was to change the resistor from node 1 to node 2. So we dropped that to 4.7k. Before we dropped that, it had a 1.2k and we'd got 15 watts of bias on this EL84, which obviously should be 12. So we dropped that to 4.7k, and that brought the bias down to 12.5 watts, which is fair enough. So we left part 1. We was going to come back, which is why I'm here now, and look at this gain control we'd been playing around with. Now that is run off a TL072 package, one of these type of thingamajigs, and for anyone who's not seen one before, it's basically an 8-pin integrated circuit, double twin op amp. So there's like 2 operational amplifiers in there. And we were going to see if we could get a bit less gain on this control, because at max gain it's heavy metal. But even when you turned a little bit of this in, and that's really as much as the customer's going to do, it just gives this amp a bit of a push, because you can turn that gain completely out and you can still use the amp, but it's not that loud. But if you just put a dribble of that in, the amp gets quite loud pretty quickly, but it starts to overdrive immediately, starts to break up. So we did a bit of searching online, and we came up, and I'm skeptical about this working, but found a couple of other op amps, a TL062 and a TL022. This is a TL072 that we've got in now, to see if these have got a little bit less gain. Some very useful comments on this amp. We could change the feedback resistors, lower the feedback resistors to lower the gain. That's another option, although we'd have to fish around and do a bit of testing to find where they are, which ones they are, because there's an array of stuff, but that won't be too difficult. And the other thing, and someone left a really good comment, combating the problem of this resistor up against this capacitor, which is just baking it. And this is why I didn't change this to lower the bias instead of this, not to mention the fact that I didn't have one of those type of resistors, because if I increase the resistance of that to lower the bias, it then it's going to be even hotter, and then that's going to bake even more. Somebody came up, and I don't know why I didn't think of it, and you tend not to when you're filming, but is to put a tag strip on here, put a cathode resistor on, and then bring the wires back down to there. And I thought, yeah, that seems doable. So we're going to have a look at that, see if we can get something on there to wire a resistor on and get it away from here, make the amp a bit more reliable, just as a fun thing to do as well. And it's another mod that's listed online. You know, if anyone gets one of these and they want to make this a good amp, that'll be another mod that they can do there. But we want to focus on this TL072 package we've got here. So I've got the guitar in now, so we'll plug it in, and we'll have a bit of a swage. So if I crank all of this in, this thing, and that obviously it gets incredibly loud, we can bring that down on the master. It's just a gain monster, and it works just like a foot pedal, really, a distortion boss overdrive or something like that. Now if we crank the amp flat out but with the gain fully down, amp's nice and clean, but it won't really break up, and that's not mega loud. Now if I just put a dribble of this gain in like that, you can see it's already beginning to break up. So what we're going to do, we're going to try these other couple of packages in there and see if we can get that clean. So we'll leave that control where it is, and I'll put my guitar down there, and what we'll do is we'll unplug and we'll just let the voltage drain, and then we'll get in here and we'll fish this IC out there, and we'll put these glasses on so I can see which one is which of these. That's the 6.2. So we'll put this TL062 in here. Like I say, I'm not expecting anything much different, but it's entertainment. That's why we do it. A bit of entertainment for the channel. There we go. So we'll pop him in, and now we'll see what we get. And that's really not changed. In fact, it's debatable whether that's a little louder. Maybe a tiny bit less distortion, but nothing major. And obviously that's about the same. So obviously if I crank that, it's going to be about the same amount of distortion anyway. So let the voltage drain. So we'll try. Let's try the 2.2 in there now and see if that. So these are roughly around the same gain. They're just a bit lower in power consumption, I think, really. So let's just have a look. But we'll try them. That's the 2.2. Let's try that one. TL0 double 2. Has he gone in? Yeah. So we'll plug in again and see if that one works any different. Probably won't, but I'm not really surprised about that. I was skeptical in the last video whether that would make any difference, but we've tried it. So what we're going to look at now is this cathode resistor, which I think, if I remember, we'll measure it again to check, I think was 220 ohms, and if I remember it measured 217. So we're looking for a 220 ohm resistor around about 5 watts that we can mount on a tag strip somewhere around here. So if we just have a look, yeah, there's plenty of space there. So I'm going to go off now and have a look what tag strips and stuff I've got and how we're going to mount it on here. There we go, and you can hear the ice cream van there. I've got the door open, just one cornetto. Give it to me. Some of you will remember that advert from many years ago, from if you live in the UK. So there's our tag strip, as you can see there, and I'm going to drill a couple of holes, and then we're going to put some stilts on him, and then we're going to connect this to 6 watt 220 ohm resistor to it, and see if it's going to be enough. If not, we'll have to find something else bigger, but I don't have anything else in 220 ohms. So we'll drill a couple of holes in there and get some stilts on that, and then I'll come back and we'll have a look. Right, so I've got that on there, you can see, and it looks relatively straight. I am rubbish at metalwork, I have to be honest. I'm balderdash at it. That's going to be the word of the week, balderdash. It means it's a very posh word for rubbish. So yes, I've got that on, and that's really solid. Couple of M4s. I've got a star washer and a nut, star washer and a nut, and then I've got a couple more nuts on top of there to pack it. And then we've put that on there, star washer, a couple of nuts. That's most delightful. So the next thing we're going to do, and I'm going to have to go through this quickly before the battery goes. Next thing I'm going to do is get this capacitor out. And I've put that on the wrong side, because I'm a plank. I've just looked at that and I've just put that on the wrong side. Why? Just why? It'll be okay. I'll just run the wires underneath the board, but why have I done that? What a plank. I told you I'm no good at metalwork, but that is a ultimate plank moment. I've put that on that side. As it happens, it won't matter, because it's coming from here. It's just going to be longer wires. Duh. What a plank I am. That's got to be the biggest plank moment of this year. Why? You're all laughing. All have a good laugh. What a plank I am. That really was a plank moment. Oh dear, it's just been one of those days. But I've come up with a cunning plan. So I was thinking I was going to have to take the board out to get this out. I could break it up, but I'd rather not. But if I can solder these from the top, because they've got traces. If I take that bypass cap out of there, this has got like a recess underneath, and I can see both pins. And that's the battery on the gimbal gone as well. So yes, I can take, I'm holding the camera now, so I can take the bypass cap out, and I can get my small clippers in there, and I can clip those free, and then we'll just gently break this glue off. So that's what we're going to do next. I can't believe I've put that on the wrong side. That has done me for the day. And there I was looking at it, being proud of myself, thinking how straight I'd got that, because they don't call me 5mm Martin for nothing, because everything I do is usually 5mm out. Right, sorry about that. The gimbal went, and then the battery in the camera went as well. So we're back and charged up now. So I've got the cathode resistor on there. You can see wires there, wires going up to here, and I wired it in where the bypass cap was, and I put the bypass cap where the resistor was. So that's all done, and it's nice and solid. Check the bias. We've got 242 volts on the wall, and the tube at it 12.9. So yeah, quite you can say the voltage fluctuates quite a lot in this country. It's dropped to 239, but in the morning when everything, the factory's open and everything, it's usually down to about 232, something like that. 231, 232. Now another comment that was left was on this transformer. And it was Steve that left a comment saying that this 115 is 230 volts, and is there a 250 volt tapping on it? Can't really see that because the light's shining on it. Let's just go in with the camera and try and get, oh dear, get in on it. So on here it's 115, and you just wire these to 230 volts. He pointed out the filament voltage. If this is wired at 230, what would the filament voltage be? 250 volts AC is what's going into the amp on the secondary, is red there, you can see. So let's check the filament voltages, and you can have a look there and just see what they are. Get the right pins, there we go. We're on AC 6.2, and we're at 240 volts, so that's bang on. Obviously should be 6.3, so that's right. That was a good shout though, that the filament voltage just could have been over, with that being at 230 volts, but even at 240 volts they're not over, so that's fine. We don't need to touch that, so that's okay. So some good comments left on this, and it's always nice, as I say, people are looking over your shoulder, and this, you know, they spot things. It's so yeah, that's good. So we've got the cathode resistor on here, and that's doing a fine job because I can hold that, you can see, so that's plenty good enough for that job. Amp's biased. Now I went delving in a little bit, looking at these resistors around this this package for this TL072, which, and I've still got the 022 in there, but those resistors are really tiny. I don't have any resistors that small. I have no need for them. I never use them. Having said that, here's the first, you know, but I just don't use those, and they, you know, they look like 1/8 watt, 1/4 watt. I think the 1/8 watt. I think I don't use those type of resistors. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pass on trying to mod that, and I'm going to let the customer have this back. Now we've got it all sorted out and it's working, just let him see how he gets on with it, and if he's, I don't think there'll be a problem with this gain control. He'll probably only use a tiny little bit of it, enough just to get, he might not use any of it actually with him recording, because he's only using this amp for recording. So, but this amp now is, you know, it's a lot more reliable. We got, remember, the bias was at 15 watts. We've dropped that a good couple of watts. We've removed that cathode resistor that from here, so that's going to make that a lot more reliable. Now this cap's not getting tranced with the heat. Got him over there, so it's yeah, it should be fine now. This should be a good amp, good little amp. Sounds great with the gain control off. If you just put a tiny bit of the gain in, it just clips a bit. If you put any more than that in, it just turns into a raging heavy metal amp. Well, if you like that sort of thing, it's ideal. But what we're going to do now, I'm going to box it up, and we're going to have a listen to it on its own speaker, and then we're going to plug it into the 4x12, because it's got this extension speaker socket on the back, and well, if it's got that on the back, it's a must to plug it into the 4x12. Right, I've got this Hayden combo on here, and yeah, on its own speaker. I've set a bit of a blast on it, and it sounds quite nice. It's quite nice. I mean, the gain control's fully down on there, and yeah, that's about halfway up on the master. Sorry, no, that's about 10 o'clock on the master. So let's crank it. It is quite loud, really. That is. I mean, it's like now we've got it. You know, it's in its case and everything. It's not on a test speaker. It's that's pretty loud. So that sounds really tasty. Probably not much use for that gain, really. And now I've just put a dribble of that gain in. Still got that TL022 package in there. And I think there might be a tiny little, you know, just a slightly less gain on that, but not massively noticeable. Because when the 7.2 was in, you slightly turned it up and it was breaking. It was breaking up. So I think that has made a little bit of a difference. Now we've got it up here, and but not a massive difference, but maybe a difference. Maybe I'm imagining it. Yeah, that's not sounding bad at all. Just take some of the treble out. So that's with no treble. Let's just take all of that gain out now. That little bit of gain. Just get a bit of a warmer tone with the gain out of there. Let's have a play with the mid control. So that's no mid. Yeah. Yeah, not bad, not bad. Let's turn the master down and crank that gain up there and have a bit of a listen. So we'll crank the gain full up, full tilt, madam. Let's get some top in there and a bit of mid. Yes, that, I mean, that's not great, but the amp clean, you know, without that, the amp's great. I mean, if you wanted that, you should put a overdrive pedal on it. Let's get it on the 4x12 and have a bit of a play. And that cuts out the speaker in here, that socket. So this speaker's not on at all now. Not as bright on the 4x12. That's full treble. That's new treble. Treble doesn't seem to work very well unless the mid control. When the mid control's down. Is that what Eric Clapton called the woman tone? Never understood why I called that the woman tone. Yeah, not bad at all. Not bad at all. Let's have a go with the with the gain on the Marshall cab. So I get a bit better sound. You might get a bit better sound on the Celestion speakers. And again, we might not. Worse. It is better on the 4x12. That's not bad, that's much better. Yep. it's always customary to put it through the Marshall if it's got an extension speaker socket. Sometimes I think about getting rid of this cab because it's so big, but I think some of the subscribers would never forgive me if I did, so I've probably got to keep it now. It's become a bit of a trademark of the channel. So there we go. So yeah, the Hayden Mighty Mofo, and I have to say that that's not a bad little amp. You know, for small combos, you know, with that gain off there, it's got some nice tones coming out of there, you know, clean tones, and it breaks up nice. Well, the gain, as I say, is, you could take that or leave it, depends on what type of player you are. And I don't think the guy will be using it that tones this, and to be fair, you know, I don't see any reason why he would, unless he's a heavy metal guitarist, because this sounds great without it. So you just leave that turned down. So yeah, just a nice little combo, apart from my plank moment. But we won't mention that. But it turned out all right in the end, so it wasn't a problem. But yeah, so that'll do it for this one. So thanks for watching. You all take care, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye for now.